We spawned in an empty void, alone on a Skyblock island, with lava and water in our chest, and mining the logs. While mining the tree, I remember that rubber trees, which is right next to us, produces resin. And I may or may not have forgotten to get the... You didn't see that. After painstakingly giving myself the transsimulation table again, I found out that oak saplings are worth 32 EMC. And for those who don't know, the transsimulation table can take in items of EMC value and translate it into the same EMC that we can then use to exchange for items that are equal or lower in EMC value, which just means infinite EMC with the right setup. I was finally able to make my first wooden pickaxe. Don't mind what I'm doing here. After throwing in the cobblestone into the transsimulation, wait, we're in a plains biome. That's pretty much useless. Anyway, we made our first tree tap, which actually allows us to get resin from the rubber tree. Though I quickly realized that this wasn't going to be useful at the moment. I couldn't even craft anything with it. Oh wait, no. Well, there's one thing we can try. No, it's just resin sheets. What could we use that for? I made some slabs to help expand the island. After making some resin sheets that absolutely does nothing, we moved the cobblestone generator. Finally, after grabbing the lava, we remade our cobblestone generator. I decided to be a good citizen and fill the hole with dirt. I found these things called energy collectors, and they go through Mark 1 through 3. However, they're really expensive. Luckily, we have these things called loot bags, which drop from mobs on kill. And to get mobs to spawn, we need a mob farm. So back to the cobble grind. I'm having fun. I decided to make a furnace so I could at least make charcoal with the log I had. And like the buffoon I am, I threw in my wooden pickaxe. With the new charcoal, I made torches, and with those torches, I could put it on top of the mob farm to prevent mobs from spawning on top. I had to use quantum mechanics to know exactly how many blocks away I needed to place this dirt block to place down another sapling. I decided it was time to part ways with the rubber tree. With advanced quantum mechanics, I could understand how many blocks away I needed to place down dirt. And desperately wanting to place down saplings, I had to choose very wisely which one I wanted to place down and in what order. At this point, it felt like a good idea to expand with the cobblestone slabs I had remaining. Which, let me just add, this is oddly satisfying watching this at 7.5 times speed. After finishing placing the slabs, I decided to plant some more saplings. After debating with myself, I decided this was the best spot to put the mob farm. I got straight to work making the mob farm, taking breaks in between to get the blocks I needed and resources. I got lucky enough that a zombie spawned on top of the mob farm, and after killing it, I ended up falling and breaking a leg. But thankfully I was still in half a heart. Luckily the zombie dropped a loot bag, which contained pumpkin seeds, coal, and an axe. With the coal, which... Oh, wait, the charcoal and coal is 4 times difference in EMC. That's crazy. Unluckily for me, the witch spawned on top of the witch farm, so I had to get it down before it killed me on half a heart. Like the genius I am, I had to go out of F5 mode over and over again, just to distract the witch, and when the time was right, I went out of the way, just so that way the witch could see me. Finally, after what seemed like years on end, the witch finally fell down the hole. In the slowest way possible. And my pickaxe broke, so I had to break this cobblestone by hand. I was about to make a jump of a lifetime. Hi, Mrs. Witch. Ah! After quickly killing the witch and not dying, we got lucky enough to find a loot bag with powered rails. These powered rails have lots of EMC, so if we got rid of this, we could complete the mob farm. Which is exactly what I did for the next 5 minutes. That was until I realized that my pickaxe broke again. It was turning dark very quickly, so I had to quickly speed through building everything. Placing out all the torches I could actually fix the mob farm completely, aside from the carpets, which we still needed string for. We kept up the grind, getting loot bags and resources inside said loot bags, until eventually I just became too powerful. There was nothing in the world that could kill me. You didn't see that. After getting an ender pearl, and the spare carpets I had gained from the string, deciding to break even more leaves just because I needed more saplings, along with getting obsidian, flint and steel, and bronze from a loot bag. I mean, this couldn't get any better. Oh my god, an enchanted golden apple. This gives so much ENC. You would not believe how much we would just be able to do with just this alone. We also got this weird thing called an iridium shard. And finally, we gained iron after what seemed like hours of grinding. With this, we could complete the farm after making a bunch of hoppers, which was very important for this. I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember what I needed the glass for, I just made it. Wait, why did I need glowstone? Oh, right, for the collector. Yeah, we're making an energy collector here. which finally, after 2 hours and 30 minutes of grinding, we finally made our energy collector Mark 1. With the power of the sun literally in my hands, I could actually produce energy with light. After making a philosopher's stone, I quickly learned that it could transform blocks into other blocks. Don't mind him, he's fine. After learning you can shoot balls outside of the philosopher's stone, afterwards I finally made my first dark matter. Which I gotta say, they made a really nice pun out of it. Using the same dark matter, I made Mark II energy collector, and I made red matter as well. Which then I used the red matter to make an MK3 for the energy collector, as well as making an MK1 for the antimatter relay, as well as an MK2 antimatter relay, as well as an energy condenser. I then made a rendering gale ring, then spent the next 15 minutes trying to learn how to fly. The EMC grind was slow, so I tried learning how to make more blaze powder with a macerator. Since flint was necessary for the macerator, I had to make some gravel with the philosopher's stone on a sand block. And finally, I made my first macerator. Now, at the time, I felt like I needed to make a condenser, which was not very much of a good idea. But you know what? We still made it anyways. Mainly because I couldn't understand how to use it right away. I mean, can you see this? I don't understand this a bit. Can you? You probably can. I'm just not built for this. Anyways, after grabbing some more EMC, I wanted to generate some power with a charge pad, which in reality I really didn't know how to use. I also made a TV thing. Yeah, I don't know how to work it either. I spent 15 to 40 minutes trying to make it work. It did not work. It was here that I actually learned how to make power with a generator, which, let me just say now, is extremely useful. I highly recommend if you ever try this kind of mod. Using some of the spare planks I had, I used it to power the generator. Yeah, it still wasn't powering the charge pad. I'm pretty sure that's for a different mod. So I went AFK to get more mods, and only to come back and somehow die to a creeper. I don't know how that happened. A bunch of the mobs escaped, but we're gonna move past that. You don't want to see that. I finally made a low-end EMC farm with the blaze powder and blaze rods. It was also here that I learned how to fly finally. Turns out I needed coal as a fuel source of some kind. I continued to modify the EMC farm and blaze powders, using different resources such as a macerator, generator, and some pipes to try and make everything go smoothly. And some redstone engines, so that way I could at least keep it automated at all times. I spent another 40 minutes to an hour trying to set up other mechanics, but from what you saw, it led to nowhere. But back to the EMC farm. I decided to revamp some of the EMC farm's mechanics so that way there would be a system where redstone would be turned into coal, and coal would be used as a fuel source on the generator, and the generator would power with wires into the macerators, which in the pipes take all that resources and blaze powder into a chest where I can just collect it anytime. It was also here that I learned about how to make overclock upgrades, which are super useful, which I'll explain a little bit later. But essentially, I just made a whole farm out of it, using different resources such as a fill, fluid stuff, using pipes to put into a tank. There's a lot you don't want to know right now, but maybe in another video. After setting up the IC2 farm and making the tanks actually fill up with liquid, which don't ask why it took 30 minutes to set up, I finally make my first overclock upgrades, which, if you didn't know yet, they stack on themselves. So 1 is 70%, 2 is 39%, and just keeps going on and on and on, which is very much overpowered if you let it stack. Though it costs a lot of power, it's just really efficient. I mean, can you see this? It's 0.08% speed. It's crazy. Finally, though, I had set up my EMC farm almost to the max. It was almost perfect. It was doing incredibly well, and it still is doing incredibly well, as we can see. I mean, all this just for blaze powder. So like redstone into coal, and coal into the generator, and generator into electricity, and electricity into the macerator, and macerator into blaze powder. It's a great process. And with the farm almost completely automated, we were just about done. Just a quick list of the mods I've been using. If you have any recommendations, please do suggest some if you feel like it. I might not choose them, but if they work, they work. If you want to see more episodes, then we're probably going to go ahead and get Galactic Craft set up. Yeah. So long, buffoons!